San Jose at 301 South 1st Street. Michael Spiro alongside San Jose State head coach Mike MacIntyre. And Coach, back on the road this week. We go to San Antonio, and you're looking for your third straight victory on the road.
Yes, our kids are excited about going to San Antonio. Want to bounce back from last weekend, and we played well on the road, and hopefully we'll keep that up.
Want to go over tonight on the show. We'll look back at last week's matchup against Utah State. Paul Beaupre, the CEO of Good Samaritan Hospital, will join us. We'll talk recruiting with Coach Mack. We'll also be joined by San Jose State men's basketball coach George Nessman. We'll wrap up the show with a preview of San Jose State and UTSA. We'll also take questions from the fans. If you'd like to submit your questions online, you can do so on Twitter. It's @MichaelSpiro. And a reminder for everyone, be sure to join us at the downtown San Jose Original Joe's every Wednesday night leading up to a Spartan football game. We record the Mike MacIntyre Show from 6 to 7 p.m. And you can always catch it on 1590 KLIV Wednesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Coach, looking back to last week's game against Utah State, Utah State comes in, knocks off San Jose State 49-27. San Jose State falls to 4-2 on the season, 0-1 now WAC play. Certainly a tough start to conference play, but looking ahead, 5 crucial conference games remain, and also a non-con matchup with BYU. How was the team's response and attitude on Sunday when you got back to practice?
They were ready to work on Sunday. Of course, they were down, but we went out and worked, and they had a good crisp practice, and we had a really, really good practice on Tuesday. I thought we practiced well today. So I was pleased with how they reacted to it, and it was definitely a tough loss and one that we wish we would have played better, and a few plays here or there. But I thought they fought hard the whole entire time, and tried to make it. It was pretty exciting at times. I thought we had some chances, and it just kind of fizzled away a couple times.
Listen to the Mike MacIntyre Show on KLIV. Well, looking at your offense first, David Fales sets San Jose State regular season record with 38 pass completions in the game. Goes 38 of 50 for 467 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions on the day for Fales.
David's a very, very good player. He's just getting better and better and better. And he made a lot of great plays in the game. And the way he hung in the pocket and kept getting back up and going again was, I think, was inspirational to our team, and I know it was to me.
Looking at the team as a whole, San Jose State, the most accurate passing team in the nation. Team completion percentage of 74.55%. So mostly Fales, but also George and even Kyle Nunn helping out with those numbers. But David Fales, looking at him, he's number 2 in the nation with a completion percentage of 75%, even just behind Geno Smith of West Virginia, who's at 75.29%. So we're going to have to be tracking those guys the rest of the way here.
Brian Lindgren and our whole coaching staff has done a great job. Terry Malley does a great job with receivers, and then Clayton Adams with our tight ends. And so, they all catch the ball well, and they move the ball, and they spread it around, and David does a good job of just not locking in on one receiver and seeing the whole field. And I thought that he's doing a great job, and he'll keep doing it.
Looking at one of his favorite targets, junior wide receiver Noel Grigsby, he again goes into the record books. On the afternoon, 11 grabs, 181 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. He's now number 1 at San Jose State in pass receiving yardage, currently sitting at 2,288 yards. And earlier in the season and went into the record books, now also number 1 at San Jose State in career pass receptions. Right now he's sitting at 184 there and counting. So he continues to just add to his records.
Yes, I think Noel Grigsby is going to be a name that they're going to be saying, you're second behind Noel Grigsby. Probably in 2030 they'll be still saying that. He is a phenomenal player, great person, great student. He was a team captain as a junior, and the team elected him. And I think that shows you what it is. And I think he can catch anything. With any way his body is turned, he'll catch it. And he made 4 spectacular catches that normal human beings don't make Saturday. And so I'm very pleased with how he's doing, and I know he'll have another good day again Saturday. He always comes to play.
And what impresses me is, well known, you call him the little guy or the Smurf, him and Chandler Jones, because they are so small. He goes in there, makes those great catches in traffic with big defenders right around him.
Yeah, he has no fear, and there's a knack to that when you're running across the middle. And it's funny, he can get his body in weird shapes and forms and protect the ball and really hardly ever get hit. And I can't explain. I call him Sneaky. He is sneaky.
Third nickname for him, Sneaky Little Guy Smurf. You got any more we need to know about?
No, not yet.
All right.
I'll let you know eventually.
Yeah, we'll check in with you later. Listen to the Mike MacIntyre Show here on KLIV. San Jose State hits the road again this Saturday, taking on UTSA at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Kickoff set for 11 a.m. Pacific. with a 10:30 a.m. Spartan pregame show. It's all right here on the Spartan Sports Network's flagship station, 1590 KLIV. Coach, before we get to a break, I want to touch on the comeback in this game. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Things early on not looking good at all. 28-3 is the score in the first half. Spartans rally right back, make it 28-20 at half, playing from behind throughout the game. But could you touch on that big comeback at a time when some teams, some players might say, we're done, this thing's over. Look at the score. All of a sudden it's a one-possession game heading into the locker room at halftime.
Our team, they believe they're going to win every game they're playing in. They are in great shape. They keep fighting. They never get down. We've got good experience. And, I thought we were at halftime too. I thought we'd do it, and then we came out in the second half and stop them there, 2 downs, and they popped one. That kid's really quick and fast, and that's what happens in those spread offenses. If you don't fit your gaps just right there in the secondary, and we missed a tackle in the secondary, if we misfit up front, and he was off to the races, and that was tough. Now we bounced back and had a chance there, and I thought when we ran the flea flicker, we call it the circus play, and got that 4th and 20, and I said, here we go, we're going to score, and here we go, and just never could kind of get on rhythm sometimes, but they never gave up, I know that.
Well, I know the guys certainly disappointed, but excited. They've been able to put this one behind them, a lot of season to go, and they're looking forward to this road trip to San Antonio to take on UTSA at the Alamo Dome this weekend.
Yeah, they are. They're looking forward to doing that, and it's going to be a good contest. This is our first WAC game at the Alamo Dome. They're expecting over 40,000 people to be loud in there. Their kids will be excited. Their fans will be going crazy. So we've been practicing all week with a lot of loud music in our stadium, and having to do everything with silent count and communication. So our kids will be ready to go.
All right, well, we'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll be joined by Paul Beaupre from Good Samaritan Hospital. We'll also talk recruiting with Coach Mac right here on the Mike MacIntyre Show on 1590 MacIntyre Show here on KLIV. Michael Spiro now joined by Paul Beaupre, CEO of Good Samaritan Hospital. And Paul, good to have you back. We had you in the booth on Saturday for the football game, and San Jose State and Good Samaritan are in their first year of a partnership together. Could you tell me what the relationship means to both sides?
Well, we're delighted to be part of the San Jose Spartans and being able to sponsor multiple sports at the school this year. San Jose is an important university in the South Bay, and we are very proud to be able to be with them and also to provide health care for them when they're in need of health care.
And speaking of sponsorships, Good Samaritan sponsored the Think Pink game this past Saturday at Spartan Stadium, helping to raise awareness and to find a cure for breast cancer. I know important to you.
Yes, it is. It's never too young for women to start thinking about breast cancer and to self-exam, and when they get to the right age to seek mammography. And we are delighted to see the enthusiasm on the part of the campus of San Jose State University to allow us to come in and help raise the awareness for this important disease.
And it was nice to understand there were a good number of breast cancer survivors at Saturday's Utah State-San Jose State game.
Yeah, there was close to 3,000 survivors at the game, so it was a real good event.
So tell us, for our listeners that aren't too familiar with Good Samaritan, tell us a little bit more about the hospital. I understand the main campus is in San Jose, but there's also an additional Mission Oaks campus located in Los Gatos.
Right. Good Samaritan Hospital is a 400-bed hospital that's located in San Jose, California, predominantly the main campus. We do basically all services. We're known as the best place to have babies in the South Bay. But we do cardiac services, cancer services, and we're noted for our stroke program, and we provide basically all services for both adults and pediatrics in the South Bay.
Now, will there be I know you guys are out at the Fan Fiesta a lot before Spartan home games this season, so fans are looking for you guys. Where you got a tent set up, or where you guys? We have a pink tent that's hard to miss. Yeah, that's hard to miss for sure. Probably the only one out there.
You're right. And we're delighted to be out there. We're giving out sunscreen and dark glasses for people that forgot their glasses before they arrived. So we're trying to protect them from the UV rays while they're out enjoying the game.
All right, Paul. Well, hey, we appreciate you coming out. Good having you in the booth on Saturday, and we really appreciate this new relationship you have with San Jose State. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Go Spartans.
Here on 1590 KLIV, we'll bring Coach Mac back in because it's time to talk recruiting. And Coach, it's an interesting topic. We talked about it quite a bit last year, and since it does involve the future of San Jose State football, I want to revisit that topic. And this is a game that I call kind of the game away from the field for all college football programs. A process that doesn't really sleep too much and something you're focused on all year long.
Yes, it's something we work out all the time, and that is the lifeline of your program, period. It's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes, and our Jimmies and Joes are getting better and better and better, and we're having a lot of response in the recruiting area, and we work at it hard, and we get great support from our boosters and the helping us be able to go on the road in May and go to camps, and through our quarterback club and our gridiron club gives us the opportunity to fund us to be able to get out and recruit all the time, and that's a big deal.
I know we were talking earlier, I think it was back in September down at San Diego State, you had some coaches to go check out some high school games, and then during the bye week you had the assistants working on things. So this time of the year, can you talk about the differences in the roles between you yourself running the show back at headquarters and then the assistants that when they get a chance to go on the road, they go do some things as well?
Yeah, you get so many opportunities in the fall to get out and see. So we'll use every opportunity this fall to go out. Matter of fact, we have a coach going to Texas tomorrow in the Houston area to come down to San Antonio when we're done. He'll be able to go by some high schools there that we're recruiting some kids. And so, we work at it constantly. We're talking about recruiting all the time. We're sending out letters. You have this time of the year, you get one phone call per kid. So we're doing that and working at that hard. And our assistant coaches are staying on the phone to coaches and mailings, and we're watching a ton of tape of high school kids. So it definitely never ends.
Yeah, speaking of a ton of tape, over 1,000 high schools in California, over 70 junior colleges. That's got to pile on up in the office, huh?
Yeah, it does. It does pile up in the office, and we're looking for about 22 guys every year, basically, approximately. And sometimes you might not even sign but one guy at a position, and so you really have to choose and look, and you're looking for the overall person too, and not just the athlete. So that's something that we try to take into consideration very hard.
Could you touch on the importance of relationships between your staff and the high school coaches around the state?
It is key. It is key. That's one of the things that helps us. We go out every May to basically every school, and a lot of the schools don't have players this year. They might have a sophomore, they might have a freshman, but we're going by, seeing the coach, staying in contact, finding out the guys he has in the future, make sure we get those guys invited to camp. And then when we do our traveling camps in the summer, we're able to see coaches again that come by the camps and bring their kids and that type of thing. So it just keeps building on itself, and that's the traveling camps have been very important to us, and being able to get out in May has been critical.
Now, I know you love landing the big recruit that everyone's going after, but it's also got to be rewarding for you to get the guy no one was looking at, no one really knew about, and all of a sudden he gets to college, he turns into a star. And you've got a good story. I'd like you to tell us about your experience recruiting Patrick Willis, who's of course now at the San Francisco 49ers, but you recruited him to Ole Miss, where he was just a two-star recruit coming out of high school. Yeah, Patrick is an amazing story. We still stayed very close. Charles Clark, who's on our staff, was his college roommate, and I signed Charles also. So, that was an amazing story. I knew about him as a 10th grader, and he was in a little bitty town called Brewston, Tennessee. They've never had a college football player before him, and they've never had a major college football player since him. And but football is important in that little town. It's literally one of the ones you see saluted on Hee Haw. There's not even a red light. It's a yellow blinking light. It's Brewston Central High School for the whole county. And so I saw him as a 10th grader. I said, "Ooh!" So I went back in the spring, and I went back in the fall, and then as a junior, and then at that time, you didn't offer kids as early. So after the 5th game of his senior year, I was watching him play, and I told the Coach Sturdivant after the game, he's still the coach there, Rod Sturdivant, that we wanted to offer him a scholarship. And Coach Cutton had already talked about it and watched tape on him a couple of times. And then we were the first ones, and then all of a sudden, people started dropping in. Auburn, Florida State, South Carolina, you name them. And some of them ended up offering him after that, but we were way ahead of the game, and he trusted us.
He came to Ole Miss and had a great career, and then, as you can tell, the rest is history. But phenomenal young man, and very excited that I've gotten to be a little bitty small part of his life, and watching all the things that's happened with him, and being able to see him a lot since we've gotten here, spending some time with him. It's really neat to see how he's grown up, and hear about all the different experiences he's having, and I'm very proud of him, very happy for him.
Well, that's a terrific story, and he comes from a small town. Now, how about with regard to the Bay Area, more well-known high schools around here? Overall, how would you describe the talent level right here in the San Francisco area?
I think the Bay Area is good. I think it's very good. I think there's very good football players here. I think there's a lot of talent, and you got to go find them. There's a lot of different places, and we go to every school because you never know when a guy's going to pop up, and so that's extremely important to us, and we're working hard at it. I honestly don't care about the stars. Never have, never will. And all I care about is how we evaluate them, how we look. I don't care if anybody else is offering them, anybody else is talking to them. And we want to find the players that fit what we want, how we want it. And a lot of times I like kids that are hungry. I like kids that are hungry, that don't think they have everything, and they want to prove something. And I think that's a big part of it also.
Where does your competition come from mainly? San Diego State and Fresno State?
San Diego State, Fresno State, Nevada, Cal, all of them. They come in here. A lot of the Big Ten schools come in. Some of the Big 12 schools come in. So that's all those different ones we run across. And of course Hawaii and everybody in the Mountain West and the WAC. So, most of the time it narrows down to down to two choices. When they might have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 other offers, but when it comes right down to it, it's usually you and one other school, and you got to figure out what's going on, and hopefully the young man decides this is where he wants to be.
We're talking recruiting with Coach Mac right here on the Mike MacIntyre Show on 1590 KLIV. We're at Original Joe's in downtown San Jose at 301 South 1st Street. Reminder, San Jose State is in San Antonio this Saturday taking on the UTSA Roadrunners. Kickoff is set for 11 a.m. Pacific with the Spartan pregame show beginning at 10:30 a.m. It's all right here on the Spartan Sports Network in 1590 KLIV. Well, Coach, an important program you have here at San Jose State is the walk-on program. Can you talk about how this all works? Because you've got a lot of guys that have walked on and then turned into big-time players for you.
Yeah, a walk-on program is extremely big for us here, and we could have a lot more walk-ons than we have, but according to the NCAA rules, you're only limited to so many. And if that rule wasn't in place, we could feast on that. It could change our program because there's so many good players around here, and you can't sign them all, and they want to stay in the area. And so it's helped us a lot. I mean, 2 guys I can talk right off the top of my head that people would know. David Quisenberry was a walk-on, and he'll play in the NFL. Chandler Jones was a walk-on, and he's a phenom. So, those are just 2 guys. There's other guys out there, but I just mentioned those 2 that stick out. Kellen Newsome, who starts for us at safety, he's a walk-on. And so it's there's a lot of opportunities out there.
How are your limitations different in terms of recruiting the walk-ons, what you can do in terms of visits and contact and all that?
Yeah, you can't, if a guy walks on, there's all these crazy, it'd take me forever to explain it all to you, but basically a walk-on is someone that initiates basically everything and then comes to school, and then once they're enrolled in school, then you're able to have them come out to practice and do all that type of thing. And, there's a lot of different quote rules. If you sign within 1 year, it counts on your numbers. If you wait 2 years, it doesn't count on your numbers. It's all kind of a crazy formula.
Well, looking at scholarship players, so many of these guys have been the stars at their high school programs, and they want to play right away out of high school, but in reality, only a few actually can do that as true freshmen. And looking at redshirting, it's not always a bad thing. Most guys do it, and you learn a lot that first year. The pressure's not totally on you, and then you've got some more experience heading into your freshman year as a redshirt freshman. Does the concept of redshirting add much of a challenge to you when you're recruiting these guys that are wanting to play right away?
Well, they all want to play right away, and we give them all the opportunity to compete to play right away. But most of them, after they're here about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, they go, oh, I'm not ready. And so that's usually the way it works out. And there's always a guy or 2 that is ready, and you let them go, and here we go. And sometimes the guys that you redshirt, end up passing those guys up a couple years down the road. Just because their bodies matured more, they're ready to play. They're better suited, gotten bigger and stronger. So it's not always if you start as a freshman, everything's going to work out perfect for you after that. You have to keep working. You can't get complacent, and you can't get entitled.
Well, looking at guys you recruit that do have experience are the JC transfers, and let's just use your quarterback, David Fales, as an example. How does that differ in the recruiting game versus high school players?
Well, on the junior college route, you're looking for someone that you feel like is ready to come in and help you. Most of the time, you want to get someone that's 3 for 2, which means they have 2 years. They have 3 years to play 2. They can have a red shirt year if they got hurt and they're not quite ready. But in David Fales' spot, he had 2 years to play 2, basically. And he had experience, and we felt like he was ready to go. And he showed us that in the spring and in the fall camp, and then he's definitely shown it to us in the game. So he's a good example of a guy that got to make a lot of throws, and he was a really good player out of high school, and had a lot of offers out of high school. And when he went, didn't quite work out, and he came back, and so we're glad to have him.
Looking ahead to this winter, do you have a number in mind where you'll be in terms of how many guys you want to sign, how many you think you will?
Probably 18 to 20. Just it differs. It just depends on how everything works out, and who we feel like is available that we want, and all the situations there. So there's a lot of numbers that go into that, a lot of different stories, but I'd say around 18 guys.
All right, Coach, thanks for the insight. Always interesting to hear your thoughts on the recruiting game. We'll take a quick break and be back with San Jose State men's basketball coach George Nessman. You're listening to the Mike MacIntyre Show on 1590 KLIV. KLIV. We are now joined by San Jose State men's basketball head coach George Nessman. Coach, just a few weeks away from the start of the 2012-13 season here. How was the offseason for your team?
Well, it was very exciting because for the first time the NCAA allowed men's basketball teams to work out during the summer. So we've been together for a long time, and I'm sure everybody's in the same place in this regard, but it's a nice thing. We're way ahead of where we normally be this time of year.
Looking at where you are right now, what are you focusing on between now and then the start of the season?
Well, anyone who saw us play last year knows we need to focus on defense most of the offseason, and we did that for just on a consistent basis. And now we'll still continue to we're sort of a training camp mentality for another 4 or 5 days, and then we'll start to transition and get ready to play. We scrimmage Pacific up at Pacific on Saturday the 27th. It's a closed scrimmage, but that'll be our first test against a Division I opponent. And we need to start moving into game readiness, and that you can't beat on guys every day.
Well, for Spartan fans, a lot of new additions to this year's roster, and I want to talk about your new guys. I'll go through them all and then just have you give us your thoughts on each player and what they bring to the San Jose State program. I'll start with your 6'4" junior guard, Xavier Jones, out of Gary, Indiana. So a JC transfer, meaning he'll bring in some experience.
X is just tough. You would not want to get fired, that's for sure. X is hard-nosed, really good with the ball. He was highly recruited out of high school. We were recruiting him coming out of high school, but it was down to Purdue, Marquette, Virginia Tech, and ourselves. But he didn't qualify. He had to go to junior college. We kept a relationship with him. Donald Williams, one of my assistants, is from Gary as well. He knows a lot of X's people, and we just stayed in there with him. I think he's going to be an impact player for us, no doubt. Tough, handle the ball, score. He's a big-bodied guy at 6'4", plays point guard at about 215 pounds. Mike might be able to use him, I think,
How about this next guy that's going to add some size? You might have problems fitting him in the hotel room and getting him on the plane. 7'1", 240-pound freshman Mike Van Kirk out of Palmdale, California. So obviously some serious size down in the low post for you.
Yeah, actually I think Mike is taller than 7'1".
Oh, really?
We measured him on the scale down in the training room, and it only goes to 7 feet, and so he went up over the scale pretty well. Mike has a lot of tools, and it has a chance to eventually be a really good player. He's a freshman. We're going to have to be patient with him, but he moves well. He's got good size, obviously good size, but he also is very physical, and that's good to see. And I think Mike's going to develop a really good player.
Yeah, again, he's just a freshman, but you bring in some more size and some more experience in 6'11" junior center Alex Brown, who's another JC transfer.
Just a big-time athlete. Alex was X's teammate in junior college, and we were recruiting X, and we sort of got on to Alex from that. Alex was from Southern Illinois and spent his whole life basically in Southern Illinois. He committed to Southern Illinois at high school. Another player didn't quite qualify, and he's really an unknown player. I think Alex was a steal for us and has a chance to be an impact. He can play way above the rim. I know some people in the Rebounders Club have received some highlights from us, and Alex is playing with his shoulders on the rim at times, so he has a chance to be pretty good.
Well, you got an international guy added to the team this year as well, out of Montreal, Canada, 6'7" freshman forward David Ando, and a guy that can rebound the basketball. And I love the guys that can rebound. They don't always get looked at first on the stat sheet by the fans, but certainly important for the team's success.
Yeah, David was a top 150 player in high school. He went to high school in the United States, actually went to high school in the Bay Area, and then was at IMG Academy in Florida this past year. David is an impact freshman, someone that we were really happy when we signed him, and David has not disappointed us so far in the workouts.
More experience with a 6'6" junior forward, Lewis Garrett, who transfers in from Salt Lake Community College.
Yeah, this is our second player from Salt Lake. Really respect the staff up there. Will Carter was from Salt Lake and just was a great player for us for 2 years. And Lewis has a chance to be very good. Really solid young man as well.
Well, you'll also get 6'9" junior forward Chris Cunningham. He'll now be eligible. He was with the program last year, but unable to play due to transfer rules. He's a transfer from Santa Clara and a guy that will be able to help you out a lot in the front court.
No question. Chris is someone that we really haven't had. A big that can really score around the rim and is physical and tough, but also very skilled. Chris has just worked incredibly hard over the last year to transform his body. And he came in, we kind of called him a bulldozer. He just knocked everybody around. But now he's actually getting around guys as well. So we have really high expectations for Chris. He was a starter at Santa Clara as well. So Chris has a chance to be one of the better bigs, I think, in the WAC.
You listen to the Mike MacIntyre Show here on 1590 KLIV. We're with San Jose State head coach George Nessman, San Jose State basketball head coach George Nessman. Hopefully you're not getting too confused here. San Jose State football, though, on the road this Saturday, taking on UTSA. The Spartan pregame show begins at 10:30 a.m. Pacific. Kickoff is set for 11 a.m., and it's all right here on 1590 KLIV. Well, Coach, looking at new guys on the roster, also a new coach on the roster, but someone that was on this roster before. He returns to your staff. That's Tim Marion back as an assistant coach.
Tim is really a bright young guy. He's got a great future in coaching. He's super dedicated, super loyal, but he's also really smart. And he's more than willing to challenge me, which I liked a lot. And I think he adds a lot of energy to our staff, and he's already doing a great job, and he's going to really contribute a lot.
Looking at the guys you've got back this year, sophomore forwards Stephon Smith and Jaleel Williams, sophomore guards DJ Brown and Nick Reeves, and your senior guards led by James Kinney, also have LeVan Pennington, Owen Moore, and Chris Jones. And James Kinney, just one of the best guards in the Western Athletic Conference. Can you talk about your expectations for him this upcoming season?
Yeah, we really challenged James in the offseason. We thought he had a good year last year, but he could have done more, frankly, and he took that to heart. He really worked hard. I think he will be the best guard in the WAC. If not, other coaches may say, well, my guy is, and I understand how that goes, but James is pretty good. He can really score. He's someone who came to us with Division I experience. He was at Ohio his freshman year and helped take them to the NCAA tournament. And I think James is going to have a good year for us.
San Jose State basketball coach George Nessman with us here on the Mike MacIntyre Show. Looking at your schedule, Coach, 15 home games on the schedule this season. Non-con games against Weber State, a team that was 25-7 last year. We had a great game at Weber State last year. In addition, you bring in the rival Santa Clara on December 11th, so everyone in the Bay Area is going to be excited about that one.
Yeah, I think both those are good games. I think the other game to note is Houston. We have Houston coming in here, and obviously people with a long memory remember them, Viceland Jam and all that. They were a national power for many years, and they're revitalizing their program. We're going to the Big East next year. I think Houston will be a fun opponent as well.
Well, you've got a big matchup in late November, a road trip to Allen Fieldhouse to take on the national runner-up Kansas Jayhawks, and this is a game that will give you national exposures. It goes on national TV.
Hopefully it's good exposure and not the wrong kind of exposure. Look, we played at Duke, we played at Michigan State. I think those experiences, Texas Tech when Bobby Knight was there, I think it's really good experience for our guys to be in a place like Kansas, which is really just legendary in terms of college basketball. Playing Allen Fieldhouse is a privilege, and so our guys will be really excited for that opportunity.
How is the whole non-con schedule assembled, and what is your role exactly in the process?
Men's basketball scheduling is like men's basketball recruiting. It's pretty complicated. We have to schedule literally almost every day. We're in contact with other schools. We appoint a member of the staff who's the point person and handles the day-to-day contact, but I'm involved with it a lot. There's a lot of negotiation. A lot of times people will say, yeah, pencil us in. Well, you know what that means. It's not a commitment. So it's like anything else. Until it's a contract, you don't have it done, and we have to work on it all the time. No one wants to play on the road. Everyone wants to play at home. So it's a task. But on the same side, you're building your team out of your schedule, so we think it's important.
Well, looking at your schedule, some new additions to the WAC this year for San Jose State's final season in the conference, but you're going to get a look at Denver, Seattle, Texas State, Texas Arlington, and UTSA. Just quickly, what can you tell me about what these programs bring?
Well, I think they're all solid. We beat Seattle and won their tournament last year. We beat Seattle and we beat UTSA last year, and they were very good. I think they both bring something good. Denver won at Utah State last year, so they're pretty good. And they're well coached. They run the Princeton style, and they really spread you out and try to basket catch you. And they're all their big can shoot the ball. I don't know that much about Texas State, being honest, but we'll see plenty of them before we play them. And Texas Arlington has been one of the real strong teams in the Southland Conference coming over. So I know we lost a lot in Nevada and Fresno, but in Hawaii, but in a certain sense, the teams coming in are roughly their equal. So I think the WAC basketball is still really good.
Well, Nevada and Fresno State will be back on the schedule next season.
Yes,
You're going to be seeing a ton of different teams the next couple of years. What does this move to the Mountain West mean to San Jose State basketball?
Well, it's going to be a challenge. You've got, in particular, UNLV and New Mexico in the league, so now you put four games on your schedule that are against top 25 opponents, and they've been pretty routinely top 25, and UNLV has kind of ascended to getting back to where they were when they were a national power, and it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's certainly going to be a steep challenge. I think another thing, too, to note, a lot of those schools are at elevation. You have Wyoming, Colorado State, Air Force, and that definitely, we talked to the coach at San Diego State, and they said, you don't want to play the second game of road trip at Wyoming, or the second game of road trip at Colorado State, because the elevation is really tough on you.
San Jose State basketball coach George Nessman. The 2012 San Jose State basketball tip-off dinner set for Tuesday, October 30th at the Event Center. You can visit sjsuspartans.com for more information. And SJSU's lone exhibition game against the Academy of Art is scheduled for Thursday, November 1st at 5 p.m. at the Event Center. The regular season starts out on the road at New Orleans on Friday, November 9th. Coach Nessman, thanks so much for joining us. We're looking forward to the start of the season and excited about these new additions to the team and the guys you're bringing back as well.
We're really excited, too. Thanks, man.
All right. We'll be back with Coach Mac after the short break. You're listening to Mike MacIntyre, This Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific, the Spartans play their second conference game of the season against UTSA in San Antonio. The Spartan pregame show starts at 10:30 a.m. and you can catch all the action right here on 1590 KLIV. Well, Coach, looking at this UTSA matchup, San Jose State comes in 4-2, 0-1 in conference play. UTSA currently 5-1, 1-0 in conference play. The first ever meeting between these schools, and for UTSA, this is just their second year of football, their first year at the FBS level. Last week, the Roadrunners lost 34-14 at Rice. This is a team that's playing a transitional schedule this season as they get settled into Division I FBS football. They have 2 wins over FBS opponents, one at South Alabama, 33-31 in Week 1, and then 35-14 on the road at New Mexico State in late September to start things off in WAC play, 1-0. But this team has been making some noise, obviously, with the 5 wins this season, and they're led by a veteran head coach in Larry Coker, who won the 2001 National Championship with the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, Coach Coker done an absolutely phenomenal job there. I'd say one of the best jobs in America. And they've got a good football team. Texas football is important in Texas, and they're doing really good. They got a good quarterback, Eric Sosa, who's a transfer in from Texas State, which is right down the road. And so they've got a good team, and it's going to be a tough battle there in the Dome.
Well, we're expecting a good crowd at the Alamo Dome for the game. The first and only WAC home opener for UTSA with Louisiana Tech. They head to Conference USA next season as part of all of this conference realignment. So their first and only WAC home opener at the Alamo Dome. But looking at their offense, Coach, first, the focus, I know for you mentioned this guy, their junior quarterback, Eric Sosa, an athletic guy who can also run with the football.
Yeah, he's made a lot of plays. He's doing a great job. He's very athletic, quick guy, not real big in stature, but kind of reminds me of the quarterback from San Diego State. A little bit like him, and they make a lot of plays, and we've got to be ready for him. They'll run a lot of option, and he'll do some drop-back passing, a little bit of drop-back passing, but they're going to use his feet.
Is the option in terms of what they run was similar to what we saw at Navy?
No, it's not even the same. It's mainly just speed option and one back option, and they'll do some stuff out of a 20 personnel, but not near as much. There's no triple option really.
Well, looking at the running back, sophomore running back David Glasgow averaging about 6.5 yards per carry. Junior running back Evans Okacha has 6 rushing touchdowns on the season, so some other weapons for Sosa to work with offensively.
Yeah, they're good running backs. They're big, they're strong. They do a good job of running the football and trying to grind it out. They have a big, tall 6'4" wide receiver they throw it to, Cam, and he is a good player.
Well, looking at your offense, guys, we should mention here tonight on this show, and a key target for your quarterback is your tight end Ryan Otten, who was just added to the John Mackey midseason watch list for the 2nd year in a row in this award. We're hoping he gets it, goes to the nation's top tight end.
Yeah, I would think he's got a great shot at it, and he's been playing really well and had another good week of practice, and look forward to seeing big number 82 out there running around catching the ball and getting in the end zone.
You're listening to the Mike MacIntyre Show here on KLIV. Well, Coach, looking at UTSA defensively, they're just giving up 19 points per game. You've had a chance now to look at them on film. What do you like about that D?
They play really hard. They've got their defensive line really plays hard and tons of effort. Their secondary, I think, is quick and has good size. I've been very impressed with how they've played and how they've done. They did an excellent job there against New Mexico State in their game and held them down and did really well.
Well, looking at your defense, a key ingredient up front for your defensive end, Travis Johnson. We were talking about the record books earlier in the show with regard to Noel Grigsby. Now, he needs 1 tackle for loss to reach 42 for his career and also tie Jerron Gilbert for first all-time at San Jose State. We'll also be monitoring his sacks. He's also 3.5 sacks away from tying Lanil Mayo for first all-time at San Jose State. And currently he's tied for second, looking at the number there, with 26.5 sacks for his career. Just phenomenal, the numbers he's been able to put up as a Spartan.
Right, I think he'll get all those records, and he's a great player, and had a good game Saturday. And I thought he had Chucky a couple times. That guy was so quick he got away a few times, but I think he'll do well this Saturday and keep everything going. I think he'll break all those records eventually.
Well, his position coach and one of your assistants, defensive line coach Jim Jeffcoat, he'll see his name go into Arizona State's Ring of Honor tomorrow. So did he take off tonight, or is he leaving in the morning?
No, he's going to leave after practice tomorrow, and he'll get up there and he gets inducted into the Ring of Honor of Arizona State, which is phenomenal. He's already in the Hall of Fame there. He's also one of the top. They picked the top 50 Cowboys of all time this year. He was number 48. And just a phenomenal player, but he's a great person, does a great job coaching, and our young men on the defensive line really enjoy getting coached by him.
Yeah, he'll have a good game to see, too. He'll be recognized at the game. Number 3, Oregon, taking on Arizona State at Sun Devil Stadium. And looking at what Jeffcoat did in his playing career, 3-year starter at Arizona State, defensive MVP in Arizona State's 1983 Fiesta Bowl win over Oklahoma, former first-round pick of the Dallas Cowboys, a 2-time Super Bowl champion with the Cowboys. And a number that sticks out to me, considering he was a defensive lineman, 15 seasons in the NFL with both the Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. How remarkable is that number, that he was able to play for so long?
Yeah, he's just a remarkable guy. He kept working at it. He took business the right way. He did the right things off the field. He's really level-headed, just a great guy. I think he played 13 years with the Cowboys. And then he always likes to tell people he went to the Buffalo Bills to pay the bills. And so he did well there.
Well, back to this upcoming game with UTSA. Talked about their offense, talked about their defense, but it's also the first dome game of the season. You'll play 2 in a dome this year. We also go to Idaho. But this is a larger dome. Have you had to adjust in practice in terms of the snap count at all?
Yes, we have. It's going to be loud in there, very loud, and so we've worked on silent counts and worked on all that type of thing. We've got the music playing in the stadium up loud, and it went real well in practice today. We usually do that every week on one of the days anyway, and we'll do it again tomorrow, and they're working on. That's one of the keys of the game is our pre-snap audible system by silent snap count signals and that type of thing, and I think we'll be okay with it.
All right, Coach, well, let's take some questions from the fan base here. Reminder, if you'd like to submit your questions online, you can do so on Twitter at Michael Spiro. And, Coach, the first one for you comes from Matt Peace down in Los Angeles. Says, the trip to San Antonio and the home game against Texas State do anything for San Jose State in terms of recruiting high school players within the state of Texas?
Yes, it does. As a matter of fact, one of our coaches is headed down there now. We have a couple kids on our team from Texas. and we're recruiting a few kids now from there. It does help us. The only negative is we won't be playing in the Needham anymore, so we won't be going back to Texas anytime soon. But it does help us getting our name out there.
Here's another one for you. This is today's Twitter question of the day, sponsored by Rubio's. It comes from Dustin Dorsey. What is the hardest part of keeping a team humble that is so close to being bowl eligible?
Wow. The main thing is just the work ethic, and they all understand what got us to this point, to win the games we've won, what's helped our program improve from day one is our work ethic. That's the one word that changes everything, is work. You can't get anything done without work, and you have to work the correct way. You have to work with intensity. You have to work with intelligence, and you have to work with committed to each other too. So they understand that. They're going to keep working hard. I don't think that's crossed their minds. I think they just want to keep winning. And that was a tough loss for us Saturday. We were a down team, but they bounced back. And it's kind of funny how losing hurts worse than winning feels sometimes, and the opposite spectrums of it. So, but we'll play hard Saturday, and hopefully we'll come out of it with a win. That's our plan.
All right, Coach. Well, we certainly hope you go get them on Saturday. We're looking forward to this one. Should be fun down in San Antonio. Best of luck to you.
All right, stay out of the Alamo Dome. Okay? I mean, the Alamo. If you're looking for Davy Crockett, he's not there anymore.
Okay, I got it. I'll note that. All right, Coach. Well, this is going to be a great game, and we're excited about it. Best of luck to you and the whole team.
All right, thanks very much.
I'm Mike MacItyre. So long, everyone.